How do you use what?
What, the 3 days and 3 nights that he was buried on Wednesday?
Oh, well, what you would do, the question is online for those online. What we do, let's go read Daniel 9 and 26 right quick. And his question was, what can we use to justify, or in other words, prove that Jesus died in the middle of the week, around Wednesday? And the way you would justify that, Brother Addison, you would count backwards. You would count backwards from the Sabbath.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? 3 days and 3 nights backwards. That's how you would do it.
Okay, that makes sense. He rose on Saturday.
Right,
Okay,
right. So you would count backwards, but you wouldn't use Daniel 9 because Daniel 9,
right.
That's talking about a 70-week prophecy. In other words, 490 years.
Right.
So those years that he's talking about, each year or for each year would be considered a week.
Okay.
Like 1 week would be 7 years.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah, I understood that part. It was the part that I understand how we get there. You know, when somebody approaches us about how you know he died on Wednesday, it just makes sense.
Right.
He rose on Saturday.
Right. Before he rose.
To be Wednesday.
Right, you take back. Right. So.
Yeah, okay. That was my question.
Okay, praise the Lord.
Okay, I missed
You
something.
just count backwards. His question was, how do you prove? How would you prove that Jesus died in the midst of the week?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is you count backwards when he rose.
Oh yeah.
You understand?
Yeah,
Right.
Sabbath, yeah.
Right, because he was already up before sundown on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you count backwards. Don't use Daniel 9:26.
Yeah, about in the midst of the week.
Yeah, that's talking about the midst of a 7-year
Seven,
period.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, that is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Cause I went back there myself, Daniel 26.
Well, I always did.
Yeah.
I always did, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I just remember he was talking about it last. I didn't get a chance to ask you if you were here.
Right.
So that's why I say the question. So when
Y'all see my glasses?
Yeah, just go backwards, yep. Any other questions?
You have one?
Any questions on the class today? Class last week? Week before last?
I can see that. I got a question. I asked a question before, but I never really got no clarity on it. Mm-hmm. First Peter, is it First Peter? I can't get my glasses. First Peter, chapter 4, verse 18 through 20. Oh my glasses at, John.
It's on the floor right there.
Oh, thank you. I'm about to go crazy. I can't see nothing.
First Peter 4. What verse is it?
18 through 20. Come on. Expound on that a little bit. Get up right now. I have my glasses on. No, for verse, I'm sorry, chapter 3.
Oh, yeah.
Has to make a difference, boy. 18 through 20.
Oh, okay. First Peter 14 through 20. Okay. Go pick that up.
First Peter 3.
Hey, First Peter 3, 18 through 20.
Mm-hmm.
Pick that up a minute.
For Christ also hath once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit, by which also he went and preached unto the Spirit in prison, which sometime disobedient, when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls were saved by water.
Okay. That's it. Now the question comes from verse 19. By which also he went and preached it to the spirits in prison. Now who are these spirits in prison?
Possibly angels. Possibly angels.
Okay. So I mean, when they say prison in terms of, what do you mean by spirits in prison?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's go to let's see if I figure out things in this Bible without going to other Bible. See if I know it by heart. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Trying to see what I can find in this Bible right here without going to my Bible. Okay. Yeah, I did find it. 2 Peter chapter 2. I was trying to do it without going to my Bible that I use all the time.
Right.
See if I find it in the big little Bible. 2 Peter chapter 2. Picks up at verse 4. So he mainly want to know online, he want to know what are those spirits that are in prison. So go ahead and read that. 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4. What does it say, brother?
For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them in chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment.
Right, but notice how he got these angels. He got them in what? Got them in chains of darkness. You see what I'm saying? You just can't see them, but that's kind of like what he got them in right now. That's why they're going to appear before you. You know what I'm saying? But the spirits in prison, that's all we were looking at, because he's taking you back to a time. If you pay attention to what it says in 1 Peter verse 4. And it's different. It's different trains of thought out there.
Yeah.
One train of thought that I spoke with my teacher about was what could possibly be going on around that time. Like they could have been trying to jump the gun as far as trying to go ahead and bring that destruction on the world. And the Lord proclaiming among them, making them like, chill out for a second.
Right.
Because it tells you right here, for Christ also have, verse 18 through 18. I'll read that for me. Yeah. 1 Peter 3:18.
For Christ also hath once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit.
Right, so he was alive, right? So when he got up from the grave, he was made alive. But it also refers back to the time when he was alive previously. That's why he says, by which what? By that quick spirit that he had. But he had that before also. Right. And another place to tell you, when he finished preaching the gospel, proclaiming the Father, he said, now give me back the glory that I had with you before the world was. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So now he's telling you he died and he was quickened by the Spirit, right? When he got it from the grave. By what? By that same Spirit that he's quickened by which he also went and preached unto the spirits in prison, which sometimes were disobedient. Then it refers back to when they were disobedient, when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah while the ark was preparing. So maybe they was disobedient to the point, just trying to talk, because we can't really identify for sure. Right. So we was just tossing around. They could have been trying to go ahead and, move out of order and stuff like that. The Lord was making them hold tight, you know what I'm saying? Because during that time, that's when the Lord destroyed the earth. Right. You see what I'm saying? With the water. But those spirits in prison, you know what I'm saying, like them angels, they might have been, trying to hurry up and go and do it. The Lord had to hold them back.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that before. There's another place, that I heard about, saying when back in the days of Noah that he was preaching to the unbelievers. I heard that as well. But that could have been the spirits back in those days, the unbelievers. I'm like, well, I didn't never hear that part, but I know I heard about that one talking about the spirit back to the angels. Right. You know what I mean? Right. I never got a clarification on that, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of more makes sense to me.
Right. Yeah, because I can't see man being in the prison like.
Yeah. He's saying the prison in terms of their unbelief, like he preached over 100 years about when it's going to rain and about the building the ark, and they wouldn't leave until they shut the door and they were all killed, you know what I'm saying? But I said, no, I don't.
Yeah, because you called them disobedient, so
yeah.
Some had to be going on.
Yeah.
But it just ain't enough to really prove
right.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Right, I got you.
One of my teachers explained one thing, and me and Jediah chopped it up a different way. You know what I'm saying? So
so it's nothing concrete.
Nothing concrete.
Right. I'd always bother. I'm like, well, spirits in prison.
Some people even say that when Jesus died, he died
with the hell,
you know what I mean? Like, come on, dog.
Yeah.
But I thought because I got it from Creflo.
Right.
The world changes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's pushed in Sunday church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it makes it, in church it makes sense.
It makes sense.
He went down there, got the keys of
the hell,
yeah. But what don't make sense is how you gonna preach to dead people though.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
They're not in hell.
Yeah, they're in the grave.
They're in the grave.
Yeah, they're in the grave. Right. They asked us Jesus went to hell.
Yeah.
And beat up Satan and got the key from him.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And they think he went to hell for real. Like,
but that's something I always bothered. I'm like, man, who are these spirits in prison?
Right.
And now I understand. I'm like, okay, it could have went hell because let's say there ain't no hell in this right now.
Right.
It's a state of condition right now.
Right.
But it's no actual lake of fire. You know what I'm saying?
But lake of fire.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like it's speak death of the grave. You know what I mean? So you're a grave. And that's what that could be. So I was wondering about that spirit in prison. And I was one of the things
Right, because it refers back to
Right.
that time.
Yeah, that time.
So something was going on back then.
Right.
But like I say, it's nothing concrete.
Yeah,
Nothing concrete.
I got you.
You know.
Thank you.
You're welcome, brother.
We can comment about the destiny this morning too, but
who?
when you talk about the law,
Mm-hmm.
in the Galatians 3, was it talking about all about our sacrifice? You broke it down. I loved it when you broke down.
Praise the Lord.
And like Paul said in Romans chapter 7?
Yeah.
Before the law came.
Right. I didn't know
I
that.
was alive.
That's
The sin came, I died.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he said sin revived.
Revived, yeah, it died.
He said the law came.
Yeah.
Like, where'd it come from? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, but he's the same one writing. It was added. Same one saying entered in. You see what I'm saying? That's the same way.
I love it, man, because
Same way.
it makes things so much clearer, because for a long time I did believe that was actually animal sacrifice. You couldn't tell it until you put it out to me that time in class where you was before. I'm like,
Right.
you know what? And I just went down and read Acts chapter 15, like you said,
Mhm.
and read the whole thing to all the
Already.
end. I'm like, you know
Wow.
what? It makes sense now.
Yeah. It's gonna open the whole Bible.
It makes so much sense.
It opened up the whole Bible, man. Like the Bible makes sense.
You're
Like,
right.
Because you get confused. Because what happens is when you get to Paul writing, like you read about the law and all that. When you get to Paul, it's confusing.
It's confusing.
But when you understand what he was preaching, I was like, I got it.
I got it now. He opened it up just things dramatically. I'm like, oh yeah, now I get it.
So your knowledge, what happens with your knowledge expands so much more.
Right.
And you can teach a lot better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I noticed happen, man. But you had to humble yourself too.
You're right.
Cause I was adamant.
When you first did it, I'm like, you know, I said, show me then. And
Yeah,
we went and chopped it up right here. I'm like, you know what? I went home and I went home and I said, you know, I'm gonna read the whole thing.
Yeah.
And when I read, I'm like, oh my God, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's what happened to me, man. I ain't gonna lie. I was adamant. And one time I was being slick about it though. I guess I was being facetious.
Mm.
I was gonna teach a class. I think I was going to Philly. I was on my way to Philly to teach a few years back, and I think Daya had to go somewhere. I think Daya was in. He might have been going somewhere else, or he might have been in Atlanta, and I was heading up to Philly. And I was calling Jediah, man, and I was trying to be slick. I was asking in a way like, so you say this ain't this, but you need to explain to me what it is. He had already said, he didn't answer the phone.
Right.
So I called it live, and I had put it down.
Right.
But I was being facetious.
Right.
I was trying because I didn't want to let it go. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to let that go, so. So I had to humble myself, and once I did, man, and I started actually just saying, okay, Lord, just show me, help me to be humble enough to receive it. Man.
Right.
And that's what it just take the understanding, like
A whole nother level.
a whole new level.
Yes,
man.
sir.
You got a whole different understanding, man. Like
Absolutely.
it's almost like trigonometry compared to algebra.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Right.
Your understanding will open up.
I ain't lying.
It's gonna open up, man. So
It like you said, it opens up the playing field. We feel, man.
yeah, you see it.
Like I said, that Romans chapter 2 speaks of that same thing. Like you talking about, turn Romans chapter 2 right
Which
now.
one?
Romans chapter 2, the circumcision thing. He talking about the circumcision, like you said.
Yeah, he ain't changed. He's like he's not switching. It's
I
the
mean,
same train of
I'm
thought.
like, wow. And I
What
stuck
you got in Romans 2?
Romans 2 verse 19. You know, 19 and through 29. You know, that part of it.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah, you still talking about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's so much simpler than you understand. The more you're like, okay, it's very simple once you understand it.
Right.
Circumcision versus the law of Moses versus Christ. Because Paul, once he had that same mindset before he got converted.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
same mindset.
That's why he's killing people.
Right. Yeah.
No, he's killing people because they was believing in Jesus.
Right.
So what better person to, humble?
Right.
Now you go preach what I showed you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that makes sense. So now he's actually defending
Right.
how the operation, how Jesus got set up. You know what I'm saying?
And that's amazing how God works, though. He's the very same guy
Yeah.
that we believe that very same thing.
That let me know that was honest. He was really trying to serve God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what made me think about some of us. That's why I don't really beat on the people in the Sunday church
Right.
individually. As a whole, we may talk about the false prophets and some, us as people and even other nationalities, how they like to hit these lies. But for a person as an individual, I'm gonna have some mercy on them because some people may actually be in there trying to learn for real.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And hey, Lord, see that, man. Like, give you mercy and let us find the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because I really thought he was doing the right thing. World changes, man. I thought like, look at this man, like, okay, this guy gonna show us, man. You know what I'm saying? But I remember, like, when I was a kid, I just told the Lord that I ain't never gonna play with you, regardless of what I see.
Right.
People shouting in church, these kids and stuff. You know, and they just get on our knees and call Jesus and all.
Right.
Say, Lord, I would never play with
Right,
you.
right.
And I meant that. My whole life, I meant that. I'm not gonna play with you. If I'm gonna be this way, I'm gonna be that way. I'm gonna fear you, but I ain't gonna play with you, God. You know what I'm saying? So when I was going to the changes, man, I thought that was it.
Right.
You know, I'm sure a lot of people thought he was doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So,
And the same thing in
With
me as
Paul.
well. Because I had to tone it down too, because when I first got the truth, I was kind of like, wow, you know, trying
aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive. Then they talking about, but he's so aggressive. And I'm like, you'll never get nobody listening to you because you're so aggressive.
Right.
So I'm like, I had to pray about that too, to humble myself, because
Yeah.
at the same time, I was a pastor once.
Right.
Over a church.
right.
So, you know, I was ordained Baptist and apostolic. So I had the both sides of the coin, what the tongues and you know, get on your knees and tarrying for the tongues
Right,
and all.
right,
I got been through all that.
Right.
So I've seen it from both sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, now since I know the truth, I'm kind of more merciful and kind of compassionate,
Yeah.
I'm kind of laid back now as far as patience now, because at one I thought I was doing the right thing at once
Yeah,
too.
absolutely, yeah.
And I was very, had a very strong zeal for Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Like we all did once. We thought we were doing the right thing, doing the right thing.
Right.
But now I'm like, God, what's so wrong, you know?
Right.
I had to humble myself as well. So
Yeah.
I had to be patient with my friends and my family.
Yeah.
They're still in the Sunday church right now. Even though I done taught about this, I've taught about this and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So still stuck in their mindset. But I have to just lean back and get that's okay, I'm over that.
Right.
So you have to pray about that, you know.
Yeah,
Lord,
that's
you-
tough, man.
Yeah, pray about it.
Yeah, that's hard, especially when you know, come out of the church.
Right.
And then you think everybody gonna like grab it like you gonna grab it, so. But you know, we're in a different generation.
Yeah.
The generation we in, first off, you got a lot more, you're dealing with more feminism. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not talking about, I'm just talking about coming from the pulpit.
Right.
Everything is more, I'm gonna talk to you nice,
Yeah.
make you feel good. You know what I'm saying? So like when it comes to us trying to bring you, we trying to save you,
Right.
but nobody want to hear it. Nobody want to hear it in a manner that we bring it, even
Right.
though we trying to save life. So now, you know, like you say, you pray, ask God, man, how can I give it, you know what I'm saying, in a way that they receive it. But it's definitely a different time. It's definitely a different time on how to do it, because I come from the era, fine Brimstone.
Yeah.
You know, my ride right off Odessa Street down off Florida Avenue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I came up in that time where they had the wooden floors on there. They
Yeah.
would beat with the sticks. You know, that same jump and the jump. I got old man, my granny used to hit floor, my dad had cowbell. You know what I'm saying? I come from that era, man. You know?
Right.
When the women, they would wear the little cloths on their head.
Yeah,
like a
deaconesses and
yeah, one thing they would call it
they call it missionary.
But what them little small things?
Yeah, little
tablecloth,
tablecloth, yeah, right.
Couple of pad, whatever. And they put them on their heads. The ushers would have those on. And then the mothers in the church, they had a big hats on. You know what I mean? They wouldn't go past because they thought that was a sin.
Yeah, they
You know? I come from that time where they had some type of respect. You know, you could teach them about.
teach them, right.
They were scared of hell.
Yeah.
Now we ain't scared. We appeasing everybody now. So now we're dealing with a different demon now. We gotta, you know, being the word, we have to take a different approach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And why does it certain
People like Clifford. I mean, these guys they on television all the time. So it's hard when you started talking to somebody. It's hard to convert it. I don't know if you guys ever had the guy call himself the shepherd, and he was talking about Revelation, and he was talking about the Jews and. But anyway, he's
that guy?
yeah.
That went in long church?
No, he called himself the shepherd. He out of Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
And but anyway, he was talking, and he had broken down that the two was one was Russian and the other was United States. You know, I mean, he was teaching this out in the Bible and nowhere in the Bible. Well, he was talking about like the Jews.
Right.
One had the fair skin, the other had clear skin, and
Right.
you know, I said, you know, I can understand why you got people so mixed up. And just like me, you know, I've been in the church for a long time, and I know George asked me, so what made you change? And cause and I try to talk to a lot of people my age because we are the hardest one to convince.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been taught this for 40, 50, 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not gonna come up to me and then they looking at, they go by the crowd of people.
Right.
I know my ex told me, so if so righteous, what does everybody is,
Right.
Because they looking at the crowd and be on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's look at something regarding that right quick. 1 Timothy right quick.
Yeah.
1 Timothy. Yeah, 1 Timothy, look at verse 2. 1 Timothy chapter 2. I'm sorry, 2 Timothy chapter 4. Just to back up your point, Brother Addison. Go ahead and read that for me, Nate. 2 Timothy 4 and pick it up at verse 2. All right, go ahead.
Preach the word. Be instant in season and out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears.
And that just goes to Brother Addison's point. You know what I'm saying? Most people are looking at, the attendance and stuff like that. Regardless, like Paul said, you got to preach the word, be instant in season, out of season. That's why, we did so many different classes. Probably like 3 last month, something dealing with this season that's coming up. False doctrine, Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. But, it tells you got to preach the word, be instant. So at the drop of a dime, you ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. So, and you just look at it, you think about it, what we're dealing with is sound doctrine. What we're doing is, we're dealing with the word. We can read this stuff out of the Bible, like in Proverbs 4, the Lord said, "I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law."
Right.
So that's the sound doctrine that we need, but ain't nobody with focusing on that. What they focus is lies, and that's why the time gonna come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall do what?
Heap to them. Shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears?
So it's like they gathering, They gather what type of teachers they want.
Yeah.
Just like with New Birth.
Yeah,
They got Brian in there now.
They got the other guy now.
John Brian.
Yes, Jamal Bryant.
They got him in there now. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody a part of the same club. Whatever lies we've been told by Eddie Long. We're going to keep that going. Then we're going to take back to how before Eddie Long even got there. We need to keep this stuff going because, listen, the people want to have certain doctrines that need to be preached in order for them to stay there. You ain't preaching what it is our mothers taught us and our fathers taught us and our grandparents taught us, you can't preach it.
Wow.
But that's what he's saying here. He said what? But after their own lust, they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. What else he say, verse 4?
And they shall turn away their ears from the truth,
Uh-huh.
and shall be turned to fables.
That's what tomorrow is. It's just a big thing. He said they're going to turn away their ears from truth and shall be turned unto fables. So, what? Wednesday? What tomorrow is? Tuesday? That's really just a fable. They rather, not deal with what God's saying, and rather be turned unto fables, turned unto lies and false doctrine. And what makes it look good is because you have so many people doing it.